back to my channel. So today we are actually going to be doing a first impressions video, which I haven't done in a very long time, at least not one just like dedicated to one particular product that I really want to test out and see if it works. But we're going to be using the color palette Star Wars Mandalorian The Child Pressed Powder Palette. I'm just looking on the back here and nothing specifically says that it is like pigments. I think it's just eyeshadows. So we're gonna open it up and you get a nice size mirror that says the cutest in the galaxy. And then it's just the typical color palette 9-pan palette that they've kind of become known for. So you have the little frog on the bottom here, and of course all the names have to do with the Mandalorian and Grogu. So you have Precious Cargo, which is this like shimmery white gold. Right Hand Mando, which is kind of like a bronzy shimmer, just like Tatooine, just like a Tatooine, which is like kind of medium brown. That's your transition color. Sipping Soup, which is this really pretty foiled olive green. Babyface, which is more of like Baby Yoda's skin tone. The Force, which is this gold pressed, that might be a pressed pigment just by the way that it's sitting in the pan. Little Frog is this really shimmery kind of huntery green. I don't know if you can tell, but there is silver glitters on them. Float Your Crib, which is the darkest green we have, and then Droid Patrol, which is the matte dark brown. So I'm going to be using this for a look today, but first, I'm not going to do anything new or different with my makeup than I have been doing, so I can get an accurate, feel for this palette. So I'm going to start with the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Concealer as the base for our shadows today. For my color scheme today, I want to try and use as many colors as possible. I definitely want to use at least one of each finish. So I think I'm going to start with just like a Tatooine for my crease color and transition shade. So I'm just going in with a big fluffy brush. As you can see, there's not a lot of kickback on the pan. The only thing I don't like about this palette, as you can see, it is a cardboard instead of plastic based packaging. So it doesn't hold itself up with the mirror. So you have to kind of hold it up. Which I hold my palettes anyway, but it's nice when I don't have to like try and hold it up. The only thing I would say that this palette doesn't have is a highlighting shade that isn't ultra glittery or shimmery. There is no matte kind of white or highlight shade, but Precious Cargo is the only one that I would say is your highlighting shade, and that's very, very shimmery. I would say it's actually closer to a foiled. As you can see with this, just like a Tatooine, blends really nicely. It's just a good medium brown transition color. A little bit darker than like a caramel color. I think for the crease color, I'm going to go into Float Your Crib, which is the green. There's a little bit more kickback on this pan, and when I tap it, you can see how much it kicks out. So we're going to be very careful when placing this down. This is going to be our dark hunter color. I haven't even swatched these yet. Like, I have not even touched this palette yet, but I wanted to definitely get to it and use it since it was a Christmas gift. So far as I'm laying it down and blending it, I'm not seeing anything wrong with it. It's blending nice. There's the color staying where I put it kind of, which is always good. There's not a lot of fallout. There's actually no fallout so far. But I'm just building it up darker in the crease now. So this is my second pass with actually depositing color onto the lid. It's blending into the brown really nicely. I mean, I think the color story here makes sense and it's all complementing each other very well. Greens are always a bit harder to work with, but so far I would say it's performing just like the other Colourpop greens. I want to dip into some of these more sparkly shimmery shadows. I really like Right Hand Mando and Sipping Soup, so I think I'm going to start with Right Hand Mando. and see how this looks on the inner half of the lid. I'm just pressing this on with a flat shader brush. Not a lot of fallout. It has a nice color to it. It's definitely a unique color where it's this kind of gold but green shade. Not a lot of fallout at all, actually. There's very minimal, just a few little flecks. And I don't have like a glitter glue or anything. I'm using the shade Dry. I feel like you could probably use it wet as well, but it's just applying nice and creamy. But having said that, I'm going to go into a bit of Precious Cargo on the same brush. I'm just going to use the other side of the brush, and we're going to pop this into the inner corner. So this is a very bright, like white gold. It really highlighted that inner corner for me. Now I'm going to go into Babyface, which is the kind of Grogu color in the middle, and we're going to put this on the rest of the lid. Just tapping this on. I think it looks really nice. I think it complements the other green really nicely, and it looks really cool next to all these shimmery shades. It's more of like a sage. That's the color I was looking for. Sage green, which is like really big right now. There's a ton of stuff that's sage green. So again, the only thing that there isn't in this palette is a light shade to kind of highlight with under the brow. So I am just going to take a bit of Crepe from my Lorac Mega Pro 3 palette. This is my normal shading color for underneath my brow. And just to blend some of the edges. Now it's time to throw on some liner. I'm just going to use the NYX gel liner. So here's how it looks with a bit of black liner. I think these colors obviously lend themselves to being used with either a black or brown liner. It's very complementary. So I'm going to put on my mascara on this eye so you can see what it looks like with that on. So just using a bit of Lash Paradise. Okay, so here's what it looks like thus far. I'm going to do my other eye and get my base on because that's pretty standard, and then we will add some under the eye so we can get a few more shades in here. So I did my base and my contour, so now we're going to do a little bit underneath the eye just to use another color. I think I'm going to go in with Droid Patrol on a smudger brush, and we're just going to start at the outer corner and bringing it right along the lower lash line. And I'm kind of focusing it on the outer part of the lash line. And I'm going to take a little bit of Sipping Soup as well because I really want to try this color out. And we're going to put it, I'm just going to press it along the bottom of that lower lash as well. So it's very shimmery. So the only one I didn't use was Little Frog and The Force. But I can use those in another video if anyone is curious. So now I'm just going to finish off the look. I want to do a kind of blush that complements this color palette. So I'm going in with Butterfly Beach from Colourpop. It's kind of like a pinky tan. Very shimmery color. I think it's actually meant to be a highlight, but for me it's just a little bit too dark. So I use it as a blush. So that obviously already gave us some highlight, but I'm just going to take a little bit more from this NYX shade and put it right up on the cheekbones, like our actual highlight points. So it'll just create everything lifting up and back. Put a little bit there, end of the nose, Cupid's bow as always. For the lips, I'm going to use my half-caked lip fondant. This is Creme de la Creme, so it's just a nude color. It's a really matte shade, but I'm going to put a gloss on top. So for a gloss, I'm going to put on, let's see, this is Glazy Days from NYX. It's a butter gloss. So I am going to go throw on a wig, but if you just care about the makeup look, here it is all done. I'm going to set it down with the Revolution Conceal and Define Infinite 16-Hour Wear Setting Spray. But if you want to see the full look with like some braided hair, I'm going to put that on. So this is the finished look. I was going to do some like crazy braids, and then I tried it a couple times and it kept lifting like the wig off my head. So this is what you get. But overall, I think the palette is really good. Obviously, it's a great value. All the shades performed well. The only two I didn't try, I tried similar finishes of. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, make sure you subscribe. Let me know down below if there's other stuff you want me to try out from Colourpop, or if you really want to see a look with those last two colors. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.